Now going straight to the English Premier League, 2 games were played yesterday, and Fulham secured their first win, English Premier League win of the season, as they beat West Bromwich Albion to move out of the bottom 3. Now Super Eagles player Ola Aina got on the score sheet for Fulham with a spectacular strike from 20 yards out. Now, Slaven Bilic's West Brom remained without a league win in 2020-2021, and they replaced Fulham in the relegation zone. And in the other game that was played, Leicester City against Leeds United, Youri Tielemans struck twice as Leicester recorded an emphatic win at Leeds to move to within a point of Premier League leaders Liverpool. Now, Jamie Vardy was involved in the Foxes' first 3 goals, and Leeds United was without record signing Rodrigo, who was forced to self-isolate after coming into contact with somebody who tested positive for coronavirus. Quite a sad case for Rodrigo right there, getting to meet someone who contracted the virus, but I just hope he gets back soon to play for Leeds United. Now, so talking about football going down in England, all 40 FA Cup round one ties, including those involving non-elite teams, will be played as planned from the 6th to the 9th of November. Now, elite sports can continue behind closed doors during the 4-week lockdown from Thursday, but rules on grassroots and amateur sports are to be finalized. The government has confirmed that the 10 non-elite teams left in the FA Cup can play under elite protocols, and all the matches will be played behind closed doors, with losing teams set to receive a share of prize money to lessen the financial impact of no fans attending. Now, going straight to Germany, David Alaba faced the media ahead of the Champions League match against their opponents, talking about Bayern versus Salzburg, and this happened after a contract bombshell from the club.
Ganz ehrlich, ich bin alles andere als glücklich, dass wir uns mit diesem Thema in einer Woche, wo wir 2 sehr, sehr schwere Spiele in Salzburg und in Dortmund haben, damit befassen müssen. Was den David betrifft, wäre ich natürlich sehr, sehr froh auch, wenn David über die Saison hinaus dem FC Bayern München erhalten bliebe. Weil David ist ein absoluter Top-Spieler und ein ganz toller Mensch. Und das will ich einfach mal hier jetzt auch nochmal wirklich bewusst auch so erwähnen.
Was heißt enttäuscht? Ich habe es gestern Abend, wie ihr alle, dann auch aus den Nachrichten erfahren und mitgeteilt bekommen. Aus den Nachrichten war natürlich eine besondere Situation, und wie es jetzt dann weitergeht, das wird sich zeigen.
Weil er einfach für die Mannschaft enorm wichtig ist, auf dem Platz, neben dem Platz, einfach einer ist, der einfach gewisse Werte auch verkörpert, der die Mannschaft immer mitnimmt, der sehr, sehr beliebt in der Mannschaft ist, aber auch bei den Fans, auch im Club. Ich bin überzeugt davon, dass er genauso wie in den Spielen zuvor oder überhaupt jetzt in einem Jahr diese Topleistung auch weiter abruft, alles gibt, dass die Mannschaft und der FC Bayern Erfolg hat. Das bin ich 100% davon überzeugt.
Ich bin ein Spieler, der wirklich sehr, sehr gern für den FC Bayern München spielt. Ich fühle mich hier sehr wohl und bin noch immer wirklich sehr happy, ein Teil dieser Mannschaft zu sein. Und wie es jetzt in der Zukunft aussehen wird, das kann ich jetzt nach gestern Abend nicht sagen, weil es wurde nicht an mich herangetreten. Es hat noch keiner mit mir darüber gesprochen von offizieller Seite. Deshalb ist es ein bisschen schwierig einzuschätzen, wie die Zukunft aussehen wird. Ich habe es ja, wie ich schon erwähnt habe, wie, glaube ich, ihr alle dann auch aus den Nachrichten mitgeteilt bekommen. Und deshalb ist es dann auch schwieriger zum Spielen.
Well, the question is, will David Alaba get to leave Bayern Munich? And if he does leave, where will he go to? Will he go to the English Premier League or go somewhere else in Europe? Well, only time will tell. But one thing is confirmed, that Bayern Munich have withdrawn the contract that they actually offered, the contract extension they offered David Alaba. What a bombshell coming from the club. Now let's go straight to the fixtures of games that were going down in the Champions League later tonight. Remember, this is where the best of football is being played across Europe. Now from 6:55, Lokomotiv Moscow will be at home to Atletico Madrid. And for Atletico Madrid, the coach there, Diego Simeone, has said that he is happy with the huge impact of Luis Suarez, who moved from Barcelona to Atletico Madrid. And by 9 p.m., we'll see Salzburg taking on Bayern Munich. And in Group B, 6:55, we'll see Shakhtar Donetsk taking on Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Real Madrid will slug it out with Inter Milan. And these two teams have not really been doing well in Europe. But of course, when it comes to the La Liga, Real Madrid are doing quite well. They're second currently in the La Liga. And of course, in Group C, we'll see FC Porto taking on Marseille, while Manchester City will take on Olympiacos. Atalanta will be at home to Liverpool in Group D, and that's a match to look out for. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game between both sides. And FC Midtjylland will battle it out with Ajax, who are without one of their star men who contracted coronavirus. Now, talking about the Champions League, Inter Milan striker Romelu Lukaku will miss their Champions League tie with Real Madrid due to a thigh injury. The 27 Conte. Good morning, Tayo. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, and you?
Great. I learned you're back in Lagos. How has the welcome been for you?
Trying to get used to the crazy and mad lifestyle of Lagos.
Yeah, true.
So it's good to be back home.
Definitely. Now, let me take your mind back to what happened over the weekend before we talk about the Champions League. Manchester United against Arsenal. I know you as an ardent Manchester United fan. What would you make of that loss to Arsenal at Old Trafford?
Well, as a Man U fan, it's not the kind of result you like. But these days, scrutiny goes beyond even the result, beyond the performance, beyond the result. Now it's about the performance. And United's performance on Sunday was shambolic, to put it in very mild words. And just like Gary Neville said, it's a whole mess. You look at the development and the direction that the club is going, not something to inspire confidence. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer looks like it's out of ideas. It keeps chopping and changing, gets a formation, it works, and he uses it for a while till the formation is found out, and it comes up with another one until that one is found out again. So it looks like he doesn't really know what to do, or he's not even sure what he wants to do. All this talk of United DNA in the way of playing, I think it's utter nonsense. I think he needs to stand up, try and get his own personality and run it through the team. Stop trying to be like Alex Ferguson or trying to satisfy the fans. Right now, it's all about results for United, and results are not coming in. Performances also are shambolic, and it's not good for a team like United. But I have to also say credit to Arsenal, especially Mikel Arteta, showing what United should be doing. Arsenal and Arteta, they've got a way of playing, they've got a DNA, but you've seen Arteta come in and do something entirely different, and the results are coming in, and that's what matters. Leave the performance right now. You need to start getting results, and no matter how you get it, that's what matters. People will not remember how you performed or the style in which you used. They will only remember the results. So for United, they need to do better.
Very true. Now let's jump straight to the Champions League and talk about some of the games that will be going down. Some key games, I must say. And let's start off from the one that will go down at the Bernabeu between Real Madrid and Inter Milan. These two teams have not really been consistent when it comes to the European scene. And we know Real Madrid to be champions. They've once in a lifetime won the Champions League back-to-back, a hat-trick of Champions League victories. And Inter Milan, they've not really been so good in Europe. What do you think will happen tonight between these two guys?
Yeah, this match would have been a blockbuster, but what the table is showing is not what we expected from both teams. We're expecting that this is a group that they will steamroll, but yeah, looking at after 2 match days, Madrid is last on the table, Inter Milan is third on the table, both of them struggling to get points. But more worrying for Madrid, 13-time champions, they've not shown the kind of performance that you expect from a legendary team like that in the UEFA Champions League. But thank God it's still the group stage, so they've got about 4 match days to put things right. But it starts in a very, very difficult doubleheader against Inter Milan. Inter Milan also struggling, but two of them showing two-face in the league this season. Madrid and Inter doing fairly well in the league, but in Europe, not the kind of form we're expecting. But both of them have to kick on tonight. How they have to do it remains to be seen. But at the Santiago Bernabeu, Madrid needs to get the 3 points, and it's going to be more difficult because defensively right now they are struggling, and I think that's where they've had most issues this season. Sergio Ramos, it looks more like he wants to be an attacker than a defender. Rafael Varane has been linked to so many mistakes this season. From last season up to this season, the left and right back is not looking assured. Too many injuries for that Cavara that left them exposed on the right. On the left, they're having to chop and change between Ferland Mendy and Marcelo. And I think if Inter is to get something tonight, they have to exploit Madrid's right and left back because they are really weak on that side. But Inter also shot up front. Without Lukaku, they look like a very, very soft team. And I think they will miss him so much.
Well, true. I totally agree with you. Lukaku will be missing in this one. And we're expecting a better performance from Real Madrid. But, of course, I see this game as a game that just might be a boring one. But let's talk about the game between Atalanta and Liverpool. For me, if you ask me, I see a high-scoring fixture tonight.
Expectedly, if both of them can play to their strengths, both of them have very, very bad defense also. Liverpool struggling with so many injuries. But if Joel Matip is past fit, I think he should come straight into the back line, and that should give them some much of security. But for Atalanta, they look like they want to score more than they want to defend. And I think that's one area Liverpool should also be exploiting. But for the history and the statistics, Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool have not really traveled well to Italy. Jurgen Klopp particularly has lost his 5 travels to Italy. And I'm sure he'll be hoping to want to rectify all of that. Atalanta have had good record against English teams, though they've only played 2. But they did well against Everton in the Europa League in 2017, 2018, and of course against Manchester City, who of course we know they meet last season. So they're a team that are not faced by any opponent, but they are also a ticking time bomb. Good on the attack, but terrible in defense. And I think Liverpool should be able to find them out. It won't be very easy for Liverpool, but we're hoping for, if both of them can come all out, we should have a high-scoring game. But if not, I think I'll just go for a draw, a high-scoring draw.
Oh, a high-scoring draw. You don't even think Atlanta will get a victory right there in Italy over Liverpool?
Well, one thing with Atalanta is you don't know the Atalanta that will show up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're a team that can go up against the best in the world and get a result. But we've also seen that they are also capable of really disappointing when you expect them to put up a performance. But hello.
Okay, let's go to the game between Salzburg and Bayern Munich. This is another game that just might be a high-scoring game because Salzburg and Bayern know how to score goals in the Champions League and, of course, in their different leagues. So what do you think will go down in this one?
Should we be talking about this one? Bayern should show this one.
Really?
Yeah. Bayern Munich right now, I think are the best club in the world right now. And the fact that they can put off a championship phase, when they are not playing well, they know how to grind out the results. But when they are playing well, they can totally embarrass anything. And that's what Salzburg will be hoping, that Bayern will not be on their best day. Lokomotiv showed that once you can try and come all out to Bayern, especially when they are away from home, you can trouble them and hurt them. I think Lokomotiv should have been able to beat them or at least get a draw in that game if they had been more clinical. But Bayern, if they are in their group tonight, I think RB Leipzig will suffer. But for it to be a game, I think Bayern have to be on a very, very bad day. And I don't know if that will be tonight. Bayern don't usually have bad days. And even when they're on a bad day, they still get results because of the numerous amount of chances they get to really conjure up. So, Salzburg will be hoping that Bayern will be on a bad day. But if not, I think this should be a stroll in the park for Bayern Munich.
All right, let's talk about Lokomotiv Moscow versus Atletico Madrid. Diego Simeone, the coach of Atletico Madrid, has said that he's happy with signing Luis Suarez, who moved from Barcelona to Atletico, and he has changed the face of the team. And he also said that Suarez is one of the reasons why the team has been in a very, very good run of form. But against Lokomotiv Moscow, it will be a tough one for the Spanish team.
Yeah, it should. It should. And I think the signing of Suarez was a very good one for Atletico Madrid. He's a proven goal scorer. He's got the experience at the highest level. And if you're thinking of making an assault in the league and in the Champions League, then you need players like Luis Suarez that have seen it all and done it all and been at that top. And I think it's coming and settled in really, really fast, taking off the burden from Diego Costa. And I want to celebrate and salute to Diego Simeone the way he's been able to infuse Suarez into his lineup.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid, one of the teams that should be riding high with the top teams in the world, but they look like they want to get draws than they want to get victories. And I think that has been their major undoing. Turning 1 point to 3 points, it's been a major issue for them. Against Lokomotiv Moscow, who are also a very difficult team, I think it would be a difficult game for Atletico Madrid. And if we're expecting a shock tonight, it has to be this game. I think Lokomotiv Moscow can shock Atletico Madrid. But if Atletico Madrid get the first goal, then I think they'll get the result. But I'm looking forward to this game. It should be very interesting.
All right. Thank you very much, Tayo, for joining us. And we hope to have you tomorrow to give us your review of the games that will go down tonight. All right, once again, let's run through the fixtures of games that were going down in the UEFA Champions League in Group A to be Lokomotiv Moscow taking on Atletico Madrid, Salzburg versus Bayern Munich, and Shakhtar Donetsk will be taking on Borussia Mönchengladbach, Real Madrid versus Inter, Porto will be taking on Marseille, Manchester City versus Olympiacos. There will also be the game between Atalanta versus Liverpool and Midtjylland taking on Ajax. Interesting games that were going down, but I'm looking forward to seeing Real Madrid and Inter Milan. I'm sure that game will be something to look forward to because both of them are not doing so well in the Champions League. But as we go, let's talk about the Shakhtar Donetsk team. They have emerged as a Champions League surprise package. Let's take a look at the stats from Shakhtar Donetsk. Incredible start to their Champions League campaign. And when we come back, we'll be wrapping up with the show.
Com certeza. Todo ano sempre tem uma surpresa na competição, né? E a gente pensa sim em chegar longe e é muito importante para o histórico do Shakhtar a gente chegar a uma semifinal, a gente chegar numa final. Então, com certeza, vem daí sim a inspiração. Como eu sempre falo, né? Futebol é futebol. Às vezes não tem como explicar. Essas duas jornadas que aconteceu aí não foi muito boa pro Real, nem pra Inter. Mas o futebol é momento, né? Pode estar uma equipe muito forte, mas a outra que não é tão forte pode acabar surpreendendo, e é o que tem acontecido. Cara, acredito que para mim o jogo mais difícil foi o jogo da Inter, porque a Inter tem uma pressão muito forte no portador da bola. Sempre quem tá com a bola sempre vem 2, 3 da equipe adversária a pressionar. O time do Real já é um time que fica muito com a bola, mas também dá espaço para a equipe jogar. Acredito que pode ir muito longe. Eu, particularmente, sempre penso alto, penso em chegar à final, porque a nossa equipe tem mostrado que tem capacidade para isso, tem mostrado com jogadores que estão dentro de campo com muita personalidade. É um desafio muito grande, né? Porque a gente ganhando, a gente abre uma vantagem também muito boa. E o time deles também não mostrou muita qualidade, né? Tem dois jogadores muito fortes na linha de ataque. Então esse desafio é muito importante para a gente. Espero a equipe estar no momento bom, fazer um bom jogo e vencer a partida.
Shakhtar Donetsk doing well in the Champions League, but let's see how far they will go this time around in the UEFA Champions League. But as we go, let's quickly look at the ATP rankings, and this is coming from the world of tennis. Novak Djokovic, the man that doesn't take any jokes, he's right there topping the list with 11,830 points. And second on the list is Rafael Nadal. There's also Dominic Thiem, who is an Australian. There is Roger Federer, Daniil Medvedev, Stefanos Tsitsipas, Alexander Zverev. There's Andrei Rublev, Diego Schwartzman, and Matteo Berrettini. These are the top 10. And if you want to look at the top 20, there's Gael Monfils, Denis Shapovalov, Roberto Bautista, David Goffin, Pablo Carreño, Fabio Fognini. There's also Milos Raonic, Grigor Dimitrov, Karen Khachanov, and Stan Wawrinka. And it will surprise you that you find Stan Wawrinka in number 20 position in that one. Not so good for the man who has done so well for himself in the world of tennis. And I just hope that he can bounce back to be in the top 5 when it comes to the world rankings. But once again, congratulations to Novak Djokovic for being number 1 in that one. And that's much you can take on Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I'm Udoka Njoku. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Plus TV Africa. And do follow us on social media, at Plus TV Africa on Twitter and on Instagram. And please log on to our website for those juicy stories, www.plustvafrica.com. Keep it locked down to Plus TV Africa because big stories live here.
In a world of overwhelming voices, where everyone has something to say,
it is important that we bring the core issues to the fore.
As we lend our voices to inspire, inform, influence, and provoke your thoughts and action.
We want to hear these issues and know what you are saying. This is not just women talking.
It is an evocative program that touches the core of our existence.
We take on topics some may consider taboo and want to sweep under the carpet.
We understand that what touches one touches all.
We know you have a lot to say, so let's hear you.
Many thanks for joining us on News on the Hour on Plus TV Africa.
State government has approved a bill for the establishment of State Security Network Agency, Amotekun.
We have the highest number of extremely poor people in the world.
He's not concerned about lecturers that are raping students that are under their care. He's concerned about them being stigmatized.
And I can tell you that he will get the result in full measure. He cannot avoid responsibility.
Why the focus on Africa at this point?
The news only cover, one side of Africa. So we always felt like the picture is incomplete. So we need the whole picture.
65% of these people, whom we term as the urban poor, live in settlements, otherwise known as slums.
This is just the tip of the iceberg of the road situations in Lagos, from the mainland to the island.
It's been a closed-door security meeting as the retreat for senior police officers hits day 3.
There's this basket or there's this bowl that we all come to the center to pick from. Everybody has to see Nigeria as an investment vehicle, not as a distributive mechanism.
Still on the foreign scenes, Russia has flatly denied allegations that is spreading disinformation about the new coronavirus outbreak on social media.
Australian Open debutant Coco Gauff defeated defending champion Naomi Osaka in 2 straight sets.
Kenneth Okonkwo, Kanayo Kanayo and Bob Manuel Udoku have been conferred with the Veteran Actor of Nigeria Award.
This is Plus TV Africa.
Plus TV Africa.
Plus TV Africa.
Big stories live here.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. On the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
It for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Thank you for joining us on News on the Hour on Plus TV Africa. Here are the stories making the headlines. I am Osaogie Ogbonwa. The Northern State Governors Forum, including traditional rulers, have called for the regulation of social media in Nigeria. In a communique issued in Kaduna on Monday, at the end of their meeting, the forum said the new media would have to be regulated in order to halt the dangers of spreading fake news. Chairman of the Northern States Governors Forum, Simon Lalong of Plateau State, said the meeting was in view of recent security challenges which enveloped the country. And earlier, while welcoming his colleagues to the meeting, Governor El-Rufai said it was high time Nigeria considered the establishment of state police following the End SARS protest, which rocked parts of the country. Specifically, the governor said the recent happenings in the country provided an opportunity to redesign the security architecture between the states and the federal government. Also, the Middle Belt Forum rejected positions of the northern governors and traditional rulers on Nigeria's unity and the End SARS protests, saying they were on their own. The national president of the Middle Belt Forum, Dr. Beatrice Pogu, argued that those who attended the meeting failed to acknowledge the need for a positive turnaround in the affairs of the country. According to him, this shows that the northern governors and traditional rulers are together with the president in the mess going on in the country. Describing the view of the northern governors and others as selfish, the national president of the Middle Belt Forum called on them to have a rethink in their assessment of the Nigerian situation and push for restructuring of the country. Still in the news, the spokesman for the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, Ken Robinson, flayed the present arrangement whereby a section of the country seems to be superior to other parts of the country. He argued that the issues raised by the EndSARS protesters are fundamental in terms of police brutality, in terms of extortion and harassment of young people in the southern part of the country also. And the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Uche Secondus, says Nigeria is currently in distress. Secondus said this during the Bayelsa State Thanksgiving Day celebration held at the Ecumenical Center, Yenagoa, on Monday. In his remarks at the event, former President Goodluck Jonathan urged the political class to shun the size of politics and unite for the growth and development of the state. Jonathan said admonished the political class in Bayelsa State and said they should know that politics is primarily for the interests of the state and the people of the state. Still in the news, the River State Governor, Nyesom Wike, said he never ordered the military to kill Igbos in Oyibo local government area of the state, describing the allegations as untrue and politically motivated. The governor stated that the curfew imposed on the local government area was to restore calm in the area after members of the proscribed Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, killed 6 soldiers, 4 policemen, and destroyed all police stations and court buildings in the area. Wike gave the explanation on a live television program in Port Harcourt on Monday. The governor said the narrative that Igbos were being killed by the military is intended to shift attention from the despicable activities of IPOB in Oyibo, which is a boundary area adjoining Abia State.
If you say because I'm fighting a gang of criminals, and then you allude that I'm fighting Igbos, okay, so be it. So be it. I will not fold my hand to allow criminals destroy my state. Because you say I love the Igbos. If those criminals, few criminals are Igbos, then they should know that I'm not allowed it. But the real Igbos, the Igbos know too well that they have, in fact, in this state, they voted for me very well. They supported me very well. So it is difficult. It's unthinkable. But I will not agree that people will form a group to destroy my state. Not only destroy my state, even annexing my state as part of what they are thinking of. I will not agree to that. Or renaming. I will not agree to that.
Welcome back. There is no country without its own challenges, and Nigeria is not an exception. This was the view of various speakers during a book presentation held over the weekend. They stressed that Nigerians have all it takes to foster social harmony and economic growth, but would require work still in progress, and of course a work-in-progress approach in order to actualize sustainable development. Jacinta Obiuku reports.
Nigeria, often referred to as the giant of Africa owing to its large population and economy, yet 40% of the total population, or almost 83 million people, live below the poverty line, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. How Nigeria should solve its own problems is the thrust of this gathering with reference to parental factors.
Parents could be the problem. So it's always good to have a mentor. So one of the ways that you can practically, if your parents are not aligned, you can always find a mentor that can help you to groom those skills or show you how you can harness those skills and what you can do with them.
As the third largest youth population in the world after India and China, both with high rate of unemployment, Nigeria youth are therefore challenged to think outside the box.
There is no Nigerian youth that is resourceful, reliable, that is idle. None. This era is the era of if you don't work, you don't earn. And Nigerian youths are trying.
The event also took another angle in addressing the issues around the boy child.
Some of the things that are affecting the girl child as well.
that are affecting the boy child, the same attention also needs to be paid to the boys, because the boys are the ones who become the men of tomorrow.
I think it's the gender conditioning that makes us produce a lot of irresponsible men, right? I think it's an urgent need. We need to begin to see ourselves as human first before gender, right? So what I think we need to begin to do is begin to raise boys as children too. A lot of people assume boys are men. Boys are not men, boys are children. So when we begin to balance that narrative, and we begin to raise them from parenting, from schooling, from domestication, right? Telling boys not to come to the kitchen is wrong.
On the take-home message, the host stresses that Nigeria can only be built by its citizens.
We put ourselves under undue pressure, right? Every nation of the world have their problem. They are all managing it. But in Nigeria and in Africa, we sort of escalate our problems more than the solution. We're good people. We're people that can rise above the gloomy of pains, corruption, and all of that. As a nation, we need to begin to take it one step at a time. It's a work in progress.
Part of the discussion was cultivation of reading and writing culture, as it is imperative for nation building. Jacinta Obiuku, Plus TV Africa.
Thanks to Jacinta Obiuku for that report. You're still watching News on the Hour on Plus TV Africa. The news continues shortly after this break.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. On the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment. There's another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, then go beat you. Now 2,500 and they pay.
In a world of overwhelming voices, where everyone has something to say,
it is important that we bring the core issues to the fore.
As we lend our voices to inspire, inform, influence, and provoke your thoughts and action.
We want to hear these issues and know what you are saying. This is not just women talking.
It is an evocative program that touches the core of our existence.
We take on topics some may consider taboo and want to sweep under the carpet.
We understand that what touches one touches all. We know you have a lot to say, so let's hear you.
Welcome back to News on the Hour. And now, from stories outside Africa, the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has announced a second national lockdown for England to prevent a medical and moral disaster for the NHS. He said Christmas may be very different, but he hoped taking action now would mean families can gather. Pubs, restaurants, gyms, and non-essential shops will have to close for 4 weeks from Thursday. But unlike the restrictions in spring, schools, colleges, and universities can stay open. And joining us to have a quick conversation about this is Peter Okoche, an anchor, BBC World News. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Okoche.
Thanks for having me, man. Morning.
I'm going to start with asking what might be contributing to the spike in coronavirus figures. A lot of people earlier in the year must have felt, 2020 was going to end, and, COVID would also go with it. But that doesn't seem very likely.
Well, that doesn't seem to be the case, not only in across the UK, but, in parts of Europe. We see shutdowns happening in Italy, in Spain, there's a partial lockdown in parts of Germany. And a lot of people are attributing this to the fact that, the cold weather is coming back, autumn and then winter when it's coldest in this part of the world. And that's what they're attributing it to. I mean, if you put COVID-19 to the side, normally this is the season that is also that you have the highest number of flu cases in this part of the world. And as we know, COVID-19 is also a kind of a flu. So that's what people are attributing it to. And I think what the problem is, or what the issue is, and the government itself has admitted that much. So it's not me criticizing them. I mean, I think they tried so many ways to try and keep COVID-19 in check. They tried regional lockdowns. They tried locking down towns where it was escalating. So places like Bradford, places like Leicester here in England. But this hasn't seemed to work. So I think they're now thinking maybe just lock down the whole country, what they're calling a circuit breaker. So lock down the whole country for 4 weeks, so there's no contact. And we know that, of course, contact is the way that people contract COVID-19. So if there's no contact between people from different bubbles, then you can limit the spread of the pandemic, or the spread of the virus, I beg your pardon, and then slow down the pandemic at the same time. So I think that's what they're doing. But let's not forget, this is just for England. Wales and Scotland have been in their own different, varying degrees of lockdown for the past couple of weeks now. In fact, I think Wales is coming out of their lockdown very soon. So, we'll just have to wait and see if this works. It's 4 weeks, so until the very first week of December before we can find out.
Boris Johnson must be under a lot of pressure. I want your thoughts also on what the likely effects of a second lockdown would be on the whole of England, with the economy, with the people themselves already getting tired maybe of the last few months.
Well, the thing is, it severely impacts the economy, because don't forget that if you close shops, then people cannot go to work. People cannot go to offices. People cannot go and earn money. Market stalls will be closed. And of course, that means a loss of income. The government, during the first lockdown in spring, which lasted just over 3 months, what they did was they came up with a lot of packages, financial packages to help people out. There's furloughing, so the government was paying people's salaries to a certain degree. That is going to continue during this lockdown. But then, not everybody was entitled to this financial help. So some people completely missed out. So it just meant that some people, for instance, didn't have a single earning for 3 months. And don't forget that, you've got to pay very high rent prices. You've got to pay for electricity. You've got to pay all your bills generally. So yes, the impact is very high. I mean, I was talking to a fellow Nigerian here just last night, and she works in a retail sector. She's going to have to go home. Now, she's lucky in the sense that she's going to get the furlough she's going to benefit from the furlough scheme, but that is a reduced amount. It's not her full salary, it's a partial salary. So, this is a woman with children, with grandchildren in her house that she has to take care of. So, it's a problem for a lot of people. But I think the government is trying to use it. If we go back to the figures, we've been seeing daily figures of 22,000 infections. Yesterday was 18,950. So just 50 cases short of 19,000 for yesterday. 147 people were admitted into hospital. 1,000 47 people were admitted into hospitals yesterday. The NHS, the hospitals are really stretched. So I think the government doesn't seem to have any option.
Word also is that the English Premiership will not be affected. Is this for economic gains or for the fun of it? And how can that be managed?
Well, I don't think it's for economic gains because the English Premiership at the moment seems to be they say they're making a huge loss. Of course, fans are not allowed into the stadiums to watch these matches. So, we've all seen the matches being played in empty stadiums. But I think it's because it's now recognized that sport is a mechanism which can allow people to cope during lockdowns. It gives people something to look forward to, people something to talk about. It's not only the Premiership, schools will be open. My kids have just popped out for school, albeit varying degrees. One of them has to spend the whole day in school. The other one spends, just goes to school for the lessons that he has and then has to come back home. Journalists, NHS workers, of course, some key groups will be allowed to go back into the office. But yes, sports, as you say, is seen as something that can take the edge off a lockdown, and the Premier League will indeed go ahead.
All right. Lastly, just before we go, I want your thoughts on how much of a relief it would be if a vaccine shows up at a time like this. The WHO still hasn't accepted the one from Russia. I know the UK is still working on theirs. America is working on theirs also. But how much of a relief will that be right now?
I think that's what a vast majority of people are looking forward to because, like you've mentioned here in Europe, in America, in South America, in Africa, in Asia, everyone is looking for the vaccine. That seems now to be what everybody is interested in. But then don't forget that there's also the argument, the no-vaxxers argument, those who don't believe that a vaccine is the best way to go. There are lots of conspiracy theories about vaccines and all that. Just want to park that. I'm not really going to that. But I think that's what everybody is waiting for now, especially since a report came out a few days ago to say that initially it was thought that people who had contracted COVID-19 before might be immune to it and would not contract it again. But this new report, which just came out, I think, late last week, has now disproved that theory, where it's found that within a few months, people can recontract COVID-19. So, I think it's very important that a vaccine is found. They're trying to rush vaccines. Vaccines normally would take 8-10 years to develop. But in this case now, because of how widespread this pandemic is, they're trying to see if they can get a vaccine in under a year and fast track it. But we'll have to wait and see and, hope and pray.
Peter Okwoche, thank you for speaking with us. Remember to stay safe, and we hope for, of course, the best as 2020 rounds up.
Always my pleasure. And you guys take care and stay safe as well, man. Stay safe. COVID-19 exists in Nigeria, believe it.
Absolutely. And now in business, equity trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange recorded a gain of 2.75 trillion naira in the last 2 months, following investors' high demand for undervalued stocks, despite the NSAS protest and the attendant losses recorded by many businesses due to lootings carried out by hoodlums. Investors were demanding the stocks of companies that were trading at low prices. Also, findings show that a sharp drop in fixed income yields following further monetary easing by the Monetary Policy Committee drove smart money into the stock market. Most stocks had hit all-time lows as investors dumped stocks over concerns about the crash in oil prices and the COVID-19 pandemic. And now for some entertainment stories, a celebrity couple Cardi B and Offset are officially back together. According to TMZ, the 28-year-old rapper filed documents in Georgia to officially dismiss the divorce paperwork she originally set into motion in September 2020. At that time, Cardi B explained that she was tired of the constant arguing and that she no longer felt a connection with the Migos rapper. During her 28th birthday celebrations last month, the couple sparked speculations they were back together after the pair were filmed kissing and dancing. The entertainment site added, that Cardi filed a dismissal without prejudice, which means she still has the right to refile the divorce at a later date if things go wrong again. However, a judge must sign off on the dismissal to formalize it. And now in sports, Diego Maradona has been admitted to hospital in Argentina with undisclosed health problems, although it is not related to COVID-19 and his condition is not thought to be serious, according to his personal doctor. Maradona was taken to the Ipensa clinic in La Plata after about an hour from Buenos Aires. Maradona coaches the local club Gimnasia Esgrima. Maradona, who won the World Cup with Argentina in 1986 and is widely considered to be one of the greatest players of all time, was admitted to hospital to undergo tests, his doctor Leopoldo Luque said. He had been feeling poorly for some time and will be under observation for at least 3 days, Luque told reporters. Luque did not give specific details of Maradona's ailment, but said it was not related to COVID-19. And that's our news roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. Do join us. I am Osaogie Ogbonwa.
The power of the people is stronger than the people in power.
True power is in the voting.
I'm afraid that these recent events have exposed the current government as out of touch with the people, and their moral right to rule has been eroded.
If Nigeria looks to be dying and we're the ones burying it, what we need to do quickly is to admit that our young people are the ones who will take Nigeria to the future.
If you engage the youth meaningfully, create opportunities for them to be employed, self-employed, and employ other people, you won't have to share 10,000, 50,000 naira to anybody.
As leaders, they have displayed a total lack of empathy and accountability in governance.
We operate a big local government where the president is the local government chairman.
Many thanks for joining us on News on the Hour on Plus TV Africa.
State government has approved a bill for the establishment of State Security Network Agency, Amotekun.
We have the highest number of extremely poor people in the world.
He's not concerned about lecturers that are raping students that are under their care. He's concerned about them being stigmatized.
And I can tell you that he will get the result in full measure. He cannot avoid responsibility.
Why the focus on Africa at this point?
The news only cover, one side of Africa, so we always felt like the picture is incomplete, so we need the whole picture.
65% of these people, whom we term as the urban poor, live in settlements, otherwise known as slums.
This is just the tip of the iceberg of the road situations in Lagos, from the mainland to the island.
It's been a closed-door security meeting as the retreat for senior police officers hits day 3.
There's this basket or there's this bowl that we all come to the center to pick from. Everybody has to see Nigeria as an investment vehicle, not as a distributive mechanism.
Still on the foreign scenes, Russia has flatly denied allegations that is spreading disinformation about the new coronavirus outbreak on social media.
Australian Open debutant Coco Gauff defeated defending champion Naomi Osaka in 2 straight sets.
Kenneth Okonkwo Kanayo and Bob Manuel Udoku have been conferred with the Veteran Actor of Nigeria Award.
This is Plus TV Africa.
Plus TV Africa.
Plus TV Africa.
Big stories live here.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Hello and welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa channel 408. Tea Time is an entertainment analysis show that covers everything important in the industry about your favorite celebrities and also covers the biggest stories in the world of entertainment and lifestyle. I'm also graced with my co-anchor Shiketu Sorosoke with me today. How's it going?
What's going on?
Hi.
You good?
Yeah, I'm very well. How was your... Did you see traffic like you're going back home yesterday?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I know my way. Now I'm a Lagos boy, proper Lagosian.
I'm
serious. Remember my title, the Jagaban of Lagos.
Oshe, self-acclaimed.
Yes, I still have my title. I didn't go anywhere. I passed the roads. You know?
Because I've been noticing that everyone is complaining about this traffic, but I haven't actually experienced it yet.
It's been senseless, actually. It's been quite senseless traffic. But one thing I would also like to say is, a lot of people will come for me for this, that when we were destroying the city, you didn't know it would affect you. You broke all the traffic lights and then you think people will control it and you think traffic will move the normal way it was moving.
Who broke all the traffic lights?
The hoodlums.
Okay. Because I wanted to make sure of who you're addressing.
No, the hoodlums.
Peaceful
I'm talking about the
protesters or
hoodlums.
NSAS or the...
No, I didn't even
You think
bring
the
up
hoodlums
the
are complaining about this
I
traffic?
didn't bring the... Of course they are. The hoodlums need to get from point A to B. It's affecting everybody.
Fair.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, I just haven't seen it. But
Imagine they had to enter traffic to go and bust traffic lights, you know? But traffic light was working and everything was making sense until they broke it and then...
But what about the traffic warders? They should still be able to be there.
That's what I'm saying. In comparison to when you have a functional light that tells you in how many seconds you're going to move...
But why are they not there? Why are they not there?
They're there. They are. I see them. I see them. They control the traffic. They do their job. But you can't compare... that man saying you move like this. Some people will still be stubborn compared to when they see a light that is actually functioning.
All right, so let's go straight into the conversations of the day. Nigerian actress Rahama Sadeu received a wave of criticisms from religious conservatives after she showed off a little bit, very tiny bit, of her skin in some photos she posted via Twitter. Reacting to the photos, a number of Twitter users from the northern Nigeria, aka Arewa Twitter, expressed their thoughts over the outfit that she wore. Sadeu had donned a champagne gold backless dress in this photo. According to members of Arewa Twitter, her dress does not comply with the tenets of Islam. One even went as far as labeling the actress as indecent and immoral, stating that her outfit was wrong. Just to get some reactions really quickly, or one reaction actually, so we can dive into the conversation. Someone said, "For making me sin with my eyes this morning, I am unfollowing you ASAP."
I'm glad that's the only reaction you took because I was the only one that caught my attention. The guy was like, for making me sin, like, bro, if you're gonna sing with that, then you just have a sinning problem.
Honestly, but to be honest with you,
you're just a sinner. You're a born sinner.
I actually don't mind that. I like that type of response. There was nothing I could take away from it that I was thinking was a problem, because you can't always like everything. And I'm not even trying to talk about their intense level of standard of indecent dressing here. But the fact that I'm a person, I have my own morals, whatever that is and whatever it's governed by. But I can't control other people. I'm glad he did not say, take this down or whatever. He just said, me, I'm going to unfollow you now. And that's the best thing for me. Like, if you don't want to see this lady's back, then unfollow the sister. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
I've seen a lot of Muslim... Okay. I've seen a lot of sisters that are well covered up and then, you know, they're still the worst behavior kind of people.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I mean, Yoruba, they call them Aburima Buwa. Do you understand? Yeah, you cover your head, but you don't cover your attitude. You still have a stinker. You still do the craziest things and nastiest things. So I'd rather prefer somebody who believes in religion and still live their life and they're still real to themselves than somebody who is pretending and that's not who they truly are. You see a lot of Christians too that go to church and they are the worst sinners in the world. So at the end of the day, yeah, I like the angle you came from, that the guy said, personally, I would unfollow you, and he did not go on and on and on and on. Because me, I had not said anything that made me sin there. I was even wishing, you know, it could be more reviewed, but it wasn't. And
I mean, what does it want to say about Tiwa Savage's photo shoot that she posted?
She's not from Arewa, sister.
Okay, it might be new. I mean, I think there is a large facet of people in the religious space, Christian or Muslim, who focus a lot, in comparison to what you said, they do the opposite, where they focus on the outside more than the inside. So you just mentioned now that if the person is dressing whatever, but she's good at heart, that's okay. But I think there's a lot of people, like I can think of like the Deeper Life denomination now, where they just focus a lot of attention on your physical. Okay. So what that looks like, the idea of deadening your flesh to sin has always itched me wrong. But I think people even take that to a drastic level that there can't be any type of pleasure whatsoever from life. I don't know which scripture, how they interpreted that, but I'm really not down for that.
I'm glad that guy said in his opinion that is his opinion, and we're trying to back him that he will unfollow me too. In my opinion, no, I think I'm more of a religious person than that guy that is claiming, because I saw that back and I did not think of nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you understand? So for you to be thinking of that, it just shows how dirty your mind is.
And I think the most important opinion here is the lady herself. And when she wore this dress, she was of the opinion that it was very okay for Twitter. And that's on period. I don't think anybody else has to argue about that. I personally think that for these northerners, there must be so much pressure, especially to be in the celebrity limelight and just to be able to do what you want, because I feel like if she was
I
from the
remember
south,
Kaisha had the same backlash.
yes,
yeah.
Kaisha had the same backlash.
For
Even
being in Big
Deja,
Brother.
yes, even Deja had the same backlash when she was starting in that Durubuchi ages ago. Like we're talking maybe 7 years now. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but I feel like that song is really old. So I feel like that there's just something about them. Obviously, you have to put things into context, and we're not the best people to have this conversation because you and I don't have any Muslim backgrounds. I've never lived in the north. I don't know about you.
I have a lot of Muslim friends, and yes, I've lived in the north because I've lived in Abuja, so yes, it's still in the north. Yeah, it's still in the north.
I argue that, but I still think we are not in that space that we don't think in this limelight to empathize with people who are of this trail of thoughts. Like if you saw the back and there was nothing wrong with the back for you, then I don't think your target audience are the same people that have been backlashing her. I don't know why they're backlashing her, but she's done what she's done.
Well,
and we'll get over with
Did
it.
you get what you did there? It's actually a pun. They are back.
Lashing.
And she exposed her back. Okay, backlash. Let's go.
All right, let's move on to the second story of the day. That's Nigerian superstar singer Tiwa Savage, as we were just mentioning now, has revealed that she tried to kill herself on 2 different occasions as a result of the bullying she received as a black kid in London. The award-winning singer and songwriter shared this information during her interview with Ebuka on Bounce Live Radio. She said she moved to London with her mother at the age of 10. She also said that her strong Nigerian accent at the time was mocked by her classmates in school. And I quote, she said, "I was teased so bad. They used to call me African girl, fufu, your food smells, and so on. And it was terrible for her. It was so bad that she literally tried to kill herself 2 times and that she was really depressed." That's insane. I mean, when I first saw it, obviously clout chasing, I actually thought that this was a recent thing. Like Tiwa Savage as an adult tried to kill herself. So I was a bit scary for a second. And then I continued to read it and I realized that, okay, at 10 years old, with that type of pressure, it is very understandable. I mean, I can relate to this on a bit of a personal level because I've been a fish out of water in terms of accents and being black and all of that stuff. So I understand the struggle for real, and it can be hectic. And I don't know what part of London that she was in. Some places are more white dominated where you don't have your black support. Some people are in a black hood that everybody wants to sound Nigerian because they've dominated that space and everything. So I can imagine that she didn't really have that support. But I'm glad that she didn't. And obviously she's blessed us with her music for many years. So we're glad that she didn't succeed in all those 3 times.
Right. So for me, yeah, when I read the story, I said, yeah, it's still a big revelation that you're even able to share that because I brought it back to recent times where a lot of our artists are trying to get international recognition, international deals. But the one thing that they tend to forget is that there's still racism in the world. You get like, no matter where you go, the fact that you're black, the fact that you're Nigerian, no matter how talented you are, you will still be profiled because you are black. And I brought it back home because a lot of them still face this because at the end of the day, when they finally attain the international recognition, the international deals they want, you see that a lot of them can't still keep up with the fame because it would still affect them. You know, people will still throw there, come back home, you're beginning to sound foreign. Imagine a whiskey who doesn't have a thick skin, right? It will probably be feeling like, oh, am I doing something wrong? Because a lot of people are saying you're sounding international. So people are saying, tell us made in UK, not made in Lagos, you know, stuff like that. So it's still a lot of pressure that comes with that international space, especially in the entertainment scene. So I like the fact that Tiwa Savage brought this home. So as far back as when she was 10 years old, imagine if she didn't live there, she didn't have that, then you blow up and you begin to garner the international recognition, and then you go out there and then you see somebody call you black monkey, this, that. How are you going to treat it? Some of us are stronger than others in treating it. Some people will talk to you, some people won't even let you in a room because of your skin color. So I think
I mean, I like what you're saying because it reminded me of the Halloween thingy with Travis Scott, who took down his entire account because his costume, people just associated it to him looking like a cockroach, and it was trending, cockroach. I think black people in general receive a lot of backlash from everybody, including black people. I think we demonize, I don't know who did this, I guess we know who did this to us according to history, but I mean, why are we still under so much of this mental slavery? It's so easy to demonize our features, the things that make us blacks. the shape of our nose, our hair texture. God forbid you're a woman now who doesn't have like mixed race hair. I've not really landed. All the Black Americans, like there's a podcast that I follow. All the Black Americans, it's a thing now. People are actually talking about it. That most of those rappers most of them don't go for black sisters or like genuinely black sisters with black features. So I like that angle that you're bringing as to saying that there's so much pressure even away from being a 10-year-old, but also just being a black person in the entertainment industry that's already so critical of each other. I mean, I think Tiwa Savage has always been quite open and she doesn't really shy away from being vulnerable. So I'm glad that she had that conversation. Suicide is something...
Big shout out to her for even revealing that.
Yeah, I think suicide is something that scares me a lot because I don't know if it's a medical... I still try to wrap my head around it as someone who's never thought about that. Is it a medical condition? Is it that you can have pressure from one particular thing and then it's a phase in your life and then you're gone and then it never comes again? Issue. Is it always a mental health issue? Could it not just be a particular situation? A particular situation that deals with your mental health is what would drive you to want to kill yourself. Now, before you would just, I don't think anyone would just wake up and be like, oh, I'm so glad I want to die. But I've seen cases where they seem more susceptible to killing themselves. Like, that's why it's mental health. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, okay, I don't know if maybe I'm not making my question right. Either way, the question is actually not relevant. But I'm glad that Tiwa Savage has shared this, like you've mentioned, and that she's come away from it. Well, I'm gonna go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Folike Damola Salako. Keep watching Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. Don't touch that down.
Honey!
Daddy, please, can I go out with you and Mommy tonight?
Sure thing, sweetie. Get your shoes and we go.
Promise?
You have my word.
Daddy!
You know I wouldn't leave without you, my princess.
Stay safe. Maintain social distance. We are Fidelity. We keep our word.
Hello and welcome back to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa channel 408. So I'm going to leave you guys really quickly with a skit from Bayou, and I really hope you enjoy it. Just trying to have a chill vibe. Stay tuned, we'll be back.
I'm sorry for staying long. The queue was long. I will join you, sir. I've gotten the drugs. I will join you soon, man. Hey! Let me guess. You want to sack my phone? Have it, sir.
Is that why you're shouting?
No, I'm actually in a hurry. I want you to sack my phone.
Why are you shouting? I will shoot you.
I'm not shouting. My mom is sick. I want to give her to...
Maybe you're shouting.
You are shouting. That's my phone. You want to sack me?
Guys, you're shouting.
You're shouting. You're shouting. I'm not shouting. Please.
I said you're shouting.
I'm not shouting. Manu, here are your drugs. Yes. Make sure you use them all.
What happened to you?
Oh, don't worry about this. It's all these SARS people. I'm fine.
I thought they said they removed SARS.
This was a SWAT. And so they used to kill people. They used to beat people to stupor. Don't worry, I'm fine. Make sure you use the drug. I'm coming. Let me take care of myself. I'm coming.
Good afternoon.
This man. I don't know how to say this.
Man, your son be you. SWAT just killed him outside.
Eh?
So SWAT.
Bayu. My own Bayu is inside. Let me call my own Bayu. There's one mixed up somewhere. Let me. Bayu! Come on, me, Bayu! Ah! 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 He came here! He gave me this job! Ah! Yeah!
If I ever see you again, God only knows if you still know my name. God only knows, heaven only knows.
Sorry, man. So sorry, man. Oh. Don't worry, man. Everything that concerns our first child, we'll take care of it. Our school fees and everything, man.
If we take care of it.
Thank you.
He's our best friend. It's the least we can do. Sorry.
The only thing I don't understand is why do good people have to die? Why do good people have to die? Oluwatoni me. My son that has never involved himself in any criminal activity. My son that has never womanized in his life. My son that does not do drugs.
Oh! Sorry. I was hungry and I'm hungry. It's hunger.
Should I quickly get you people something to eat?
No, man. Don't worry, man. We are fine.
Who is we? We who? Me, I'll eat anything, Jai. Me, I'm hungry.
Okay. Anike, let's go and get this uncle something to eat. Let me quickly drop her and get you something to eat.
Our friend just died and you won't chop.
Let me kill him. I bet Jai. Hey, cute girl. Thank you.
Fine girl. How are you?
Come get down for me.
I am
Thank you, man.
No, I can't.
Bravo.
Hey!
I hear me.
I mean, have I warned you not to be taking water from this place, Anike?
Yeah! Mumu man.
Nami? I'm not going to talk about 9.
I remember having him on the show. Every time I watch his skits, I just think about our conversation and stuff. But what did you think? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah. It made a lot of sense. So it was a lot of lesson in that. And there's a bit of spirituality in it as well. And I like the fact that they still try to make it a bit comical. And still bring it back up to a point where you can actually laugh about the serious stuff while driving home a message. So to me, it was 100%.
Yeah, I feel like I got the same thing too. Like those are really heavy topics that they've still been able to treat respectfully, but while still making us laugh. Every time I see skit makers that don't laugh about about rape or something silly, it's a breath of fresh air to me that, okay, yes, it's actually possible to be funny without being offensive, because a lot of their colleagues do that. But let's go on a quick break and we will be right back. Please stay tuned for more.
Hello, wonderful people. My name is Olaide Bakari, aka Alaja Tio. Come on. Keep watching Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. Don't change that guy.
Here are the things to do to avoid getting or spreading the coronavirus. Always wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water. Carry with you and use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer at all times. Avoid touching your face unnecessarily. When you cough or sneeze, do so in a bent elbow and not in your hands. If you cough or sneeze on a tissue, dispose immediately. Endeavor to wear a face mask when you go out. Dispose of the face mask properly after use. Should you feel unwell and show symptoms, call the NCDC and follow their instructions. Stay safe. Maintain social distance. Fidelity cares about you.
Last night, people were subscribed to last night, people who were subscribed to letters from Mo, a private newsletter platform owned by Mo Odele, popularly known as Mischievous, received a very disturbing information that she was stopped at the airport when she tried to leave for Maldives for her birthday, you know, as per baby girl life. In case you are wondering who Mo is and why we are talking about her, she's not your regular celebrity, yes, unarguable, but she's a hero in our books. She was a key player in the NSAS movement. Although she wasn't found on ground protesting like the likes of Renu or Douala, or myself, if I could say so, but she held it down for the Nigerian youths from the legal standing point. She gathered legal aid to protesters who were unjustly arrested. She fought for them relentlessly to be freed without charging a dime. So today, the Nigerian youths are ready to fight for her. Although the Queen has finally spoken, and she said on her Twitter this morning that, "Hello everyone, thank you so much, I am fine and I am safe. We haven't confirmed yet why I was stopped on Sunday or by whom, but I've been invited back with the lawyers today and I will update you when I have more information." So, but please don't spread fake news. That is dangerous. Yes, before I dive into the conversation, let me take a few reactions from the Twitter streets, which is where everything is hot right now. Coming from @J Chiemeke, Mo's only crime, quote unquote, was setting up a public defense system for youths who have been harassed by law enforcement. She and others did it in 2 weeks, what the Office of the Public Defenders haven't done in decades. Seizing her passport violates her rights to free movement, #FreeMoSexy. And then the other Twitter user also said, "I am very embarrassed by the actions of the SSS. How did Mo threaten the territorial integrity of the country? How did she threaten the safety of the president? Why was her passport confiscated? Don't they see that this is massive embarrassment? #FreeMoSexy. So that hashtag was trending this morning. I think a lot of people might not really know about Mo if you're not on Twitter, if you didn't really follow the NSAS movement, but she was quite a phenomenon to watch, and how she gathered a lot of people and helped quite a lot of people. She helped us to feel that slogan that they used to say at the NSAS movement, that I want to be able to feel safe and relevant in Nigeria as a Nigerian without knowing anyone who's important. And I think Mo gave them that. But what do you think about this whole...
Before I even say, I'd like to get your take on this one.
Okay, so I think it was interesting to see that they are actually listening on Twitter, because this girl didn't go on the protest. She's not a celebrity. She wasn't going for every interview. All she did was work online, get people to tweet at them if they were ever in trouble, and they would get them out. So it is clear to see that the government is actually on social media, following us, targeting people. So my first thought was, we are not safe. None of us are. Because a lot of young people were involved in this. A lot of people donated to her cause. So you don't know who's listening, who's watching, who has flagged you somewhere. Because for you to go to the airport and you're being flagged to a point where your passport has been seized, that means they were actually watching you and stalking your movements. So that for me was a very big worry. In regards to them actually seizing the passport, I'm no longer surprised, unfortunately. I think I've come to realize that my entire, how many years have I been on earth, claiming that I'm in a democratic society has been a facade. I know that I'm in a system where anything can happen. They can tell me tomorrow that they want to flush everybody out and they own our houses, and I'll still say that I wasn't surprised. There is no accountability. Today is what, Tuesday? It's been 3 weeks since the killing at Lekki Massacre. No one has been held accountable. So if you're taking Mo's passport, I'm not going to sit down here and act like, oh my God, why are they infringing her rights? That is not allowed. It seems like I'm in a lawless place.
Okay. So, I'd like to start by saying, God bless you, Mo. I love you. I admire you. Because despite everything going on social media, despite the hashtag free Mo, free this, free that, she still came out to say, please don't spread false information. This is said, I still don't know why. The person who is affected said, I still don't know why. I still don't know by whom. Do you understand? Those are two critical points that people should pay attention to. So fact check before you jump on any hashtag. Fact check before you jump on anything. So this is for people that are just on Twitter, that are just putting it out there. Because I called 3 lawyers this morning, and I said, have you heard about Mo? They said yes, and these are normal human rights lawyers and everything. One thing one of them said, a lady to be precise, said that stood out for me was, what has happened in Nigeria in the past 3 weeks? It's a disaster. Do not think that the international bodies are not watching. Investigations are ongoing. If false information are passed, if everything, and if you're a person of interest, obviously, you'll be asked certain questions. And I said, okay, so does that mean that he said that, who says most passports were seized because of our involvement in EndSARS? Okay. He said it could have been for as little as a change of name.
Passports are seized at the airport, Ife.
Yes, anything can happen for your passport to be seized. It could have been as little as anything. We don't know. Even the person in question. I'm not going I'm not going to sit here and be giving reasons for our passport being seized.
I need to update you on a part that you are missing.
Okay,
so Twitter did not come out to make the story on their own. She has a newsletter platform called Letters by Mo, Letters to Mo, or whatever. She made a whole speech about that, and in that speech, she made it clear that she doesn't want anyone to screenshot it. If not, I will have put this on the show as we were talking about it. She came out first and foremost.
And then she came out again.
She came out first and foremost to say that her passport had been seized by the Nigerian authorities. You have to be on a blacklist.
Did she say why?
She doesn't know why. But you have to be on a blacklist.
So we're the ones saying
listen. Nobody has said a reason. If I don't,
but that's what we're saying.
Listen.
All right, cool.
If this babe is come out to say that she was on a blacklist, you don't get on a blacklist because your passport was expired or that your name was wrong. These people at the airports, especially what you call airline people, they don't have any authority to seize your passport. What they'll just tell you is that your documents are not aligned and you cannot travel, your visa, all of that. For the government has to get involved to seize somebody's passports. You can return them back, you can detain them if they have like illegal drugs or whatever. She did not meet any of the normal reasons why your passports at the airports by the SSS would be seized.
So they don't have the right to seize your passport.
Nobody has the right to seize your passport, except you have made except you have made treasonal reason behavior. I think you have been found being in treason. That's when you do that. Nobody has the right to do that. How many people in the Nigerian authority are watching every Nigerian travel to a point where they now say, okay, this one take his... How many times have you heard that someone's passport was seized at the airport? And let's not act naive, both you and your lawyers, that the person who was involved drastically in a political EndSARS movement against the Nigerian... are you kidding? Like, who has been majorly involved? We're not making statements. We have not said... governor, whoever arrested seized her passport, or president, we've never said that. All we know is that this girl has been flagged by the federal, because you have to have serious authority to do that. They did not flag her yesterday. They did not flag her the day before. This person is a steady traveler. All she's doing is going to Maldives for her birthday. You cannot ask the people, and including her, to put 2 and 2 together. The only reason why she was disclaiming that is because people want to now form like they know exactly who this person that ordered it is. That's what the speculation is. But you cannot tell us that we are not allowed to think that this is not a political thing, because it is.
Okay. Until she comes out to tell me it's political, I still don't think it's political.
So what do you think?
I don't know. She doesn't know. Who am I to know?
We don't know who exactly. But
we don't know for what reason exactly. So who am I to give you a reason or who sees that passport?
So you don't see any relations with the fact that because she was involved in the EndSARS movement?
For now.
Even DJ Switch that has been hiding, nothing. Okay, all right. For now. Let's move on with the conversation. Maybe we'll have a better understanding of this next one. Nollywood actor Femi Jacobs has offered some bits of advice to those who try to cut people of their dignity under the disguise of helping them. The movie star took to his Twitter page to simply write, "Do not rob people of their dignity under the disguise to help them." Literally quoted it again. The award-winning movie star also shared his thoughts on the corrupt public office holders in Nigeria, particularly the fact that there is no pressure on them to perform excellently at their roles. And I think those stories obviously intertwine really well. But let's take your thoughts.
Basically, yeah, I like what you said, because you see a lot of people trying to help people and then they go out and then make it look like, yeah, he's out of empathy, but it's actually sometimes it's just because of your own low self-esteem and for you to feel important, and then you're doing those things for people, and then so you can go around and spread it around like, I helped that person, I helped that person. So don't rob people of their self-esteem or feel entitled because you helped the person. The fact that you've helped me once don't mean that if you tell me, come here, I'll run to you. I won't run to you. You did me a favor. Don't mean that you are my God or you are my whatever it is you think you are. So yeah, I totally agree with everything Femi Jacob said on this.
I mean, it's, I like that he picked that up. When I first read it, I just, I'm very skeptical about things like that, because yes, I agree with everything that you're saying and what he's saying, but I'm just hoping that this isn't stemming from a fact that the person has asked you back for their thing and then you're not getting your feelings, because there's that aspect to this story. There's a lot of people who you help, genuinely help, and they put integrity on the line and say, I will give you back in 2 weeks, or I would help you do this, or there'll be a commission to my whatever. You know, there's little things that they've promised when they're really desperate to help, and then the renderer of this help holds on to that, obviously, and has every right to come and ask you back, like, you know, for what you have promised. I've seen a lot of the times where people they lose all humble threads that they had when they were begging and turn the other way and become this really nasty, unreachable person. So if the person is calling you, or if the person is calling your mom to tell you to bring the phone, and that's what you're now using to make this type of narrative, then I'm not down for that. I don't know what his case is, but I think it's a good thing to make that type of disclaimer, because there's that aspect as well. But if you're going off, what's it called, just shallow reasons, as in like taking it off surface value, I have to agree, yes. There is a lot of people that I've noticed, and I stay far away from them, where they really like you being low. It makes them feel good. Everything is nice when you are down. They want to be there. They really like that savior's mentality. And then when you now start to get out of that, it's a problem. Even rejecting their help, like, no, don't worry, I think I've got it. They're like taking it back, and I don't know what kind of, I wish I had a psychologist on the table that would give us the reason why your brain works like that, why you always feel the need to be obsessed with the savior mentality and always want to helping people so you can control them. It's really sick to me. It's really sick to me, and I don't know why. But I have to agree with your thoughts on saying that, yes, there is a lot of people that do that, and I find it sick. So I have to agree with Femi on that one as well. Let's see time, go on a break. We'll be right back.
Hello, hi, my name is Stephanie Linus. Keep watching Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. Stay tuned.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. On the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
In a world of overwhelming voices, where everyone has something to say,
It is important that we bring the core issues to the fore.
as we lend our voices to inspire, inform, influence, and provoke your thoughts and action.
We want to hear these issues and know what you are saying. This is not just women talking.
It is an evocative program that touches the core of our existence.
We take on topics some may consider taboo and want to sweep under the carpet.
We understand that what touches one touches all. We know you have a lot to say, so let's hear you.
Hello and welcome back to Tea Time. Okay, so before we dive into the next conversations for you, don't worry, they are very hot. I'm going to leave you with Tauma's skits. Do enjoy.
Detective Kule. I mean, they are looking for a camera there. Can you imagine that kind of thing? Imagine. In fact, I'm mortally disappointed. In fact, the funniest thing is that this generation that is here, all the generators, I like them because they spoke out. Solo, okay, generation. They're not like us, no? Solo, how are you? Solo. What do you want? Get out of this place now. Come back here. Why we say you should go? Why did you beat him like that?
It's Auntie Cynthia told me to come and tell him that they've looted our shop now.
Hey!
And he's not beating someone.
Cynthia! All these people, all these vandals, all these hooligans, they're just taking advantage. They're not the main reason of this protest. Solo, they didn't bring that.
They loot.
What about the 64 inches television?
They loot.
Everything inside the shop.
They not loot everything. It's not that they loot everything. They leave the wig stand and the generator rope.
My baby is for fairy.
Chef loot.
By the time I'm done with you, Solo, you will learn the loot. Hey, Kule is not the one that loot. So then, what happened? Where is your own? So that she don't open how many weeks ago? 1 week ago. And with a lot of capital. A lot of capital. How did you know the capital is much? Do you know how much? Forget about how she got the capital. I'm talking about loot. Loot is bad. It's you that open shop for Cynthia. I thought that's much.
This is too much.
Front and bone straight, Colombia week. And they're not sending come on, man, to tell me. You don't want to spend money inside your house. You will go outside to spend that money. Those boys are thieves. No, they are not thieves. So they came to carry their palliative.
I like Tauma a lot. And she always does it for me. I really liked the angle that she brought in and all the conversations. Before I even started dissecting her skits, Tauma wowed me on social media. I don't know if I'm late to this story, but I only found access to it yesterday. The engagement.
She just released a video.
Well, for us, I don't know Tauma personally, but what really wowed me about that, not because she's engaged, was the outfit that she wore. I found it so simple. The whole thing was so simple. This babe looked like I mean, she didn't look like she was at her home. She looked like she dressed up, but nothing too serious. And for me, that was like a breath of fresh air. I'm no shade to anyone. No, I like do you, obviously. Like, I'm not trying to compare and contrast, but I think in this side of the world, like Nigeria, I've always said it, that I just think we do too much sometimes. Like the way we go to church, the way we buff up for simple things. We do our pre-shoots, like, you know. So for me to see somebody like Tauma with so much influence, with too many eyes on her, where there's a lot more pressure to outperform and all of that, to see her really simple and enjoy her simple man, I was like, babe, let me get another Instagram account to follow you. You deserve another following for that. So I really like the babe and how she still remains grounded and seems like she hasn't really lost touch of her, you know, like her simple life, like her person. Like she hasn't lost touch of the fame and all the attention that she's getting because she's super talented and she deserves that. But in regards to the skit, it was fun.
Yeah, simplicity is overrated because I mean it's underrated in this part of the world. Everybody feels like you need to be extravagant for you to prove a point. So, like you said, the simple outfit she wore, and I think that has also been reflected in our skits and how she puts out things. You know, it comes out with so much ease. Like it's not like she's trying too hard to be funny. You know, she just does it like it's coming from a very natural place, and that's one. Attribute I admire about Talma.
I'm sorry, did we ever think that is this her manager that came that day?
Her manager, video director, Grenade.
Because the person that we saw that day when after saying their marriage was irretrievably broken, the WAP rapper filed documents in Georgia to dismiss the divorce that she had set in motion back in September. Because remember in September, she filed a divorce at the Atlanta courthouse, reportedly after finding out that Offset, who's 28, had been unfaithful yet again. Reporters added that the filing showed it was a contested divorce, meaning it was one-sided. And it was also added that she was seeking primary physical custody as well as legal custody of their 2-year-old daughter, Culture.
Yeah, so.
Good news.
Well, she filed it without prejudice, so she's allowed to revisit it anytime.
What does that mean? Please educate
Okay,
us.
so if you file, like for instance, in our case now, she's saying, okay, she wants to have the case dismissed, but she's filing it without prejudice. So the fact that I'm filing for this case to be dismissed doesn't mean if I wake up in the morning and I decide to still go ahead with this claim.
That's what that means.
Yeah, so it's a different thing when a case is completely dismissed, such in the case of what's it called, McMill, whose case was totally dismissed with prejudice. That is, never again can you bring it up. So it has a clean slate, no criminal record. McMill is as good as brand new in the society. But if it was dismissed without prejudice, it means that the state can come up again and say, okay, pending your old trial, we are now going to be adding this one now, we'll sentence you to life imprisonment. So McMill will not be seen as somebody that had 10 years probation ongoing and all that. Now he's a brand new guy. So in this case, she didn't file it like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. This guy can do it again and I'll be back in court to say, okay, I was about to use a very. I need to like.
I think there's a lot of people who are of that worry as well, because when this divorce piece started the first time, she was one of the people that let it out really quickly. I think Offset was quite quiet about it, which is not surprising. But you know, she was putting on her status talking about how she's whiling away time, all these like quotes about, you know, knowing when things should end because there's nothing you can do about it. And she was clearly in a rough place. But lately, before even this news, we could see that they were still quite a good team. And I'm not saying that their relationship is good and that they have a fair shot at staying romantically inclined on a long term, but I do think that they've got each other's back. There is this type of vibe that they have. She was saying on her social media that it's because of their daughter, and that as long as he remains the father of her child, and she went on about that. But I still think there's more to that. I think there's because I've seen people who co-parent well, but then they've not really got each other's backs. They just love the child. You know, evocally, like without any restraints or whatever. But with this person, like, I don't know if you saw the video when he was arrested.
I did.
That to me was more than just culture. Like, at least they're friends. You can tell that they have a really good cordial relationship. So I know for a fact that the real problem is what she said in that court, which was what's it called, disloyalty and being unfaithful. And I don't know, I want to ask you, Ife, is it possible for someone who's a serial cheat, because he clearly is, who's a serial cheat, do you think he can stop for any reason? Or it's just, the problem is just beyond him?
I think look, I'm not